welcome to today's video. As always, it's a pleasure to see you back. Today's video is about the polar reversal, how to survive, what's the best way to do that. There is no straight and simple answer because there are so many different characters in this world. Everyone is expecting different things. Therefore, this video cannot be cut as one size fits all. This video is only a brief overview. This video is only going to give you some insight. I will, after New Year, after I am done with the book, I will dedicate a little bit more time to that. I am going to provide more details, more resources about that, so you can establish yourself with your friends, family, and whoever you're going to join this whole thing, because on your own that's a bad idea, how you can proceed from there. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for any input that you provide on this channel. Thank you, Kevin. I am going to address that on the end of this video, what you were asking for. Thank you for new subs. I am always glad when I see new subscribers coming in, and I hope this channel is going to grow much faster after New Year, because the platform is going to change a little bit, and there's going to be more materials, and they are going to be done in a bit different way. Also, there is a plan to have a podcast, because sometimes I feel much more comfortable just speaking over standing in front of the camera. This does not mean that I am shy in front of camera. It's simply sometimes it's more convenient, sometimes it's better for me to have the contact on a screen where you can actually see me. For most viewers, it is a bit hard to understand whatever we are saying, and it's hard for the viewer to understand people like let's say Anita Morjani or Daniel Brinkley. On me, we had this unusual experience, and each one of them is different. Either Daniel or Anita, they had different ones, and mine was completely different than theirs. Yet we have this memory of this moment where there is absolutely no fear, no pain, and this is this like overwhelming peace. It is really hard to convey that in messages to people, that they shouldn't be worried, because most of the life that we are living, we are conditioned to be afraid, to be scared, to be compliant, to obey the rules. However, we don't need to. We are individuals that can make our own choices, our own decisions. So in this regard, I am going to leave a link in the description box to one of the videos from Anita, which perfectly relates to today's topic. Any one of you planning to survive this polar reversal, you need to ask yourself question: what are the motives? What is the reason behind it? What is it that you want to accomplish? One thing I will stress out: if you are in your 40s or 50s, that's probably is off your calendar. In other words, your efforts should be to help others to survive over you planning to survive that, because the chances of you you are going to be either 70 or 60 are very slim, due to the fact that there is going to be a lot of stress, a lot of hardship, a lots of conditions that will make people sick rather very quickly. So you need to realize that in whatever position you are right now, you are very useful with providing intel, contribute, and serve with guidance, but you should not consider yourself as a person that is going to be the sole survivor and start a new civilization with you. this part belongs to the people that are right now 10, maybe 20, because they are the one that are going to pick from there. The whole process of trying to stay alive is going to go in stages. It's not like you can go and buy a piece of land somewhere in mountains, start digging holes and move in with your family. That is a really bad idea. Stage one that you are right now, you need to do some planning. Planning requires that first you need to find either in your family or your friends a group of people that secure for now food supply. My suggestion is get together, buy some cottage outside the city and or some small farm where one of you can look after that and all the others are contributing in different ways. Because this is going to be the main issue in upcoming years. And this might be more and more difficult because more and more people are going to migrate out of the city because inside the city there is a very little chance to survive. Therefore, to be successful, you need to organize yourself in something like societies, or like colonies, like even religious groups. It doesn't matter what your objective is. You need to have some form of, you need to form an entity, not corporation, but entity. If you think that the corporation is going to work for you, of course, do that. Something that is legal, that you can purchase the land under the name of that society and or corporation. You need to disclose what the purpose is going to be and that is going to be very legal. Going onto the land and start building bunkers and drilling holes in the mountains for building the caves, at first that is not going to be a good idea because the government officials, not the government in itself, but there are people working with the government that will not like it. And as you know, you can see the example from the COVID situation that each politician, each bureaucrat, they are making their own rules. They live by they live like they have at their disposal their own kingdom. So you need to understand that you are gonna meet a lots of assholes here and there, and they can make this process very difficult. Therefore, keep everything under wraps. Don't spread too much news or noise what you are doing. Rather, as I said, register corporation, or I would rather suggest some form of society where that property is the property of that society. And you are planning to have all kinds of events over there, and you are planning to, on the side, as a side effect, grow some of the veggies. So you can, from the sales, you can support further that society. Make sense? So I am not going to go into details further because too many people will do the same thing. That's where the problem is going to start. Now, stage 2 is going to be when the war breaks up, because the Third World War is around the corner, and it's not going to happen for many years from now, but I am guessing that in 5 to 6 years it is going to break down. Then you won't have any support of any institution, you won't have any support of people with money. So right now, whatever you do, make sure that you form also autonomous areas where people can, but by invitation only, stay legally where they are not going to be kicked out. You remember the autonomous zones that were first introduced in Portland and others in like Seattle. People were not big fan of that, but this is, someone is trying to tell you something important here. People are trying to pass a message to you behind the scenes this is a model by which you might get organized. The mechanics behind that insight, how you are going to be organized, that's up to you. Just remember that you need people, experts from different fields. Some of them need to know how to grow stuff in really difficult conditions, tough conditions. The weather conditions are going to be rather very risky to grow anything. Not right now. Right now you are okay. So therefore the actions should be already done at this point. It doesn't matter if you have already organization or not. Start collecting seeds. Keep them in airtight containers. Don't do anything crazy. Pound here and there. Usually look at the beans and other seeds that can be easily sprouted. Look at seeds like alfalfa or even dandelion. Dandelion, you can keep that in airtight containers for 100 years. It's going to just plant them in the ground and they will give you whatever you want. And be familiar with stuff that can grow in difficult conditions. One of them is oat. Oat is growing in Scotland where it's half winter, half summer, so it's the weather does not have to be perfect for oats to sprout and grow. The same thing for dandelion, the same thing for beans. You can sprout them anywhere and eat them, and then you will find other plants that you will find, like you can grow cucumbers, you can grow tomatoes indoor. Those are the things that you can collect right now. Get ready, and little by little, so you are not caught off guard when the lights go off. You have no refrigeration, you have no running water, you at least can sprout something and have something to eat. Another aspect of the mode that you go into survival mode is to have simple tools at hand. Very simple. The electrical grid is going to go down, but that does not mean that you cannot use electricity, because you will almost to the end you can use them. But instead of having massive power station or even the portable power generations, you may look at alternative ways. One of them is to harness the electromagnetic static that will be more and more in the ground, and you can use capacitors where they can store that energy, and then you can release that at whatever pace you need it. Most of your needs are going to be lighting. If you are going to have quarters underground or in some kind of above ground bed, you can build, for example, build a pyramid out of dirt and have quarters inside of that pyramid, for example. So the key issue is going to be ventilation and lighting. Lighting, just pay attention. There is a lots of young people that they are very inventive. See illumination and try to work around it, and all the different capacitors, because you can combine different metals, you can combine minerals and other things that can generate electricity. This video, as I already mentioned, is not very detailed because you don't need that right now. The priority right now for you is to draw some plan, talk to some people, establish some form of organization, and then as you go, I might do, because I'm planning to do a separate video dedicated only to that, with all the elements that you need to consider having with you. For example, the celebrities are already building caves and bunkers and what's not. not knowing that if there is a strong wind, that wind can kill you inside of cave or bunker. In other words, the way the wind blows can suck up like a vacuum all the air from the inside. And not many people are paying attention to that. And many times, those that were hiding in mountains to protect themselves from cold, they suck up just to this condition. They found themselves in a niche or some kind of opening where they thought they are safe, and then wind came in, and basically they suffocated. That happens in those mountains very frequently if someone is not experienced. Learn as much as you can about herbs, minerals, and different techniques how to deal with pain, because there is not going to be paramedics or anybody else to come to your rescue if something happens. Have first kit, of course, at hand. This stuff is going to be temporary until once the whole thing is over, then you will have to come up with different ways of dealing with your health issues. Same thing applies to your scratches and bruises and burns. That is something that you need to be aware of beforehand, how to deal with them. Do have someone like naturopath on your team, then you are in good hands. Have someone that is gardener for a long time on your team, and you are in good hands. Another person that is of great value are engineers, either electrical engineering engineer or construction engineer. Anyone who has technical skills where they can quickly fashion something out of almost nothing using stones and bricks and wood, whatever is at hand, to quickly do something, structure something. Those are the people that you will need on your side. At first, you may have vehicles, you may have something to move around, but with time there is not going to be any gasoline. However, there are alternative ways to fuel any vehicle. So you need to look into that as well, because that just because something is terrible going to happen doesn't mean that you cannot use this technology. The only technologies that you will most likely not use are going to be computers and cell phones. Now, walkie-talkie, that's a different story, because walkie-talkie, you can have it and use it for a while. You can have a spare batteries somewhere in safe spot where they can last for many weeks or even months, and use it as needed. If not necessary, just you can recharge them. And remember, try to build yourself everywhere you can those capacitors, because the electromagnetic static in the ground is going to be high, and then you can just collect that and store in that. Or in other formations, study stuff from India, how they lay out many of the stones which are still generating electricity. Same thing with pyramid in Giza. They are the chamber, the Grand Gallery, is a resonator that once is activated, it generates electricity, but only few people know that. What that electricity is for, what is it powering, I have no idea. When they first opened the chambers underground, they found luminous light, clothing, seeds, and other stuff, including books, and all that stuff just vanished. So from that, you know that we are not cavemen. The pyramids were not built by slaves, with stick and stones. That was done by sophisticated technology. So was Pumapunku, Gobekli Tepe, and other structures. We are coming from a species that were very sophisticated, very advanced, and very smart. They didn't know corporate world, and that's why they left all these buildings for us. If we were back then a corporate system, we wouldn't even know that they did exist because nothing would be left behind. It's very clever that pyramid in Giza are exact copy what is hiding in Antarctica under the ice. And when Antarctica is going to be free of ice and closer to the tropic, to the equator, our Giza is going to be under ice. Isn't that interesting? How they designed those two things? They were both training centers, something like Camp David, where there were orientation for tribe members or for the elders from each tribe all over the world. They were brought to that place. They were briefing. They were briefed on the whole situation, how to prepare themselves, what to build, how to build, and so on. At one time, what archaeologists discovered, there were 15,000 people around the Great Pyramids on that session, and they were all informed what I am telling you. The people, let's say, if you are going to form a society, a group, somewhere between 2 to 10,000 people, you should aim for that. That is going to be also divided into smaller groups because the smaller the group, the better it's organized, the work and the workload, and is better communication. However, in that large group, people need to choose only 20 people to survive. I know it's painful to listen to that, but that's not what it is. You see, 20 people, it's the head, it's the crop of the cream where they are for sure need to survive. They are surrounded with 200 experts or masters in different fields, in all kinds of knowledge. So they are constantly working with the 20 young people, giving them advice, briefing them, and showing different tricks. And this is the whole education process. They do workouts. They need to work 2 hours a day minimum, stay in shape, and so on. Then outside of that, there are 2,000 leaders which are looking. Each leader has under his control or her control between 5 to 10 people, no more than that. So the goal is to help as many people survive as possible, but that's why this is divided into 3 rings. One ring is 20 people, the second ring is 200 people, the third ring is 2,000 people, and the rest are contributors. I know that those which are the contributors, they might have objection, they might fight, they might disagree, they may say, oh no, hell, I am not going to go for it, I am not going to do that. So that means folks like that, they don't understand who they are, because they were born, they are here on this earth as a collective effort of many beings. And the same way, when you are contributing to a project or to survival of many people, you are part of that group, even if you are not physically there. Even if you are dead, you are still part of that group. We are all connected. There is no separation whatsoever. But as I said already on the beginning of this, that people have problem understand when I am speaking, when Anita is speaking, or Daniel is speaking, because to us is so obvious and to many other people is not. And I don't blame them, because we need diversity, and we need to be diversified, and this whole thing needs to be that way. Otherwise, this is like seasons. Without the winter, there wouldn't be any crops at all, because everything would die. Therefore, the winter is the season where everything goes to hibernation, for renewal. There's something that is going to almost dying in order to get back to life in the springtime. Same thing is here, that we have all kinds of different characters that they are part of the fabric and they need to be there. Therefore, don't be discouraged if you have people on your team that are not willing to cooperate. Just kick them out. Just look for people that are willing, they understand who they are, they want to contribute to that project. Otherwise, there is no need for them to be there. All right? So I hope that this short video gives you a lot to think about it. And I am going to be always encouraging you to form societies, form some groups, make it legal, suck up to some billionaire, present your plan, and start the way. For example, the Venus Project. You can Google that. You can type Venus Project on YouTube and you will see how many videos are gonna come up. And then be familiar what this is all about. So suck up to a billionaire, convince them that you are forming society and you need the funds to have autonomous zone where the whole project is going to take place. And I am sure that since this is going to be tax write-off, many of them would agree to that. And then you need to suck up more to have some supplies, some resources for whatever you need. But don't depend on money. Just the concept, the idea is in planning, in really detailed planning, and then the plan needs to be executed as planned, not cutting some corners, because that is going to be backfiring on you. Okay, so thank you for listening to me, for watching this video. Please, if you like the content, subscribe to this channel. Please like this channel, that helps in the ranking. And of course, check the notification bell so I will let you know, or YouTube will let you know when new video is released. In the next video, I am going to talk a little bit about COVID vaccinations. This is a subject that Kevin brought about. He would like to know what is my take on it. I am going to be very cautious, but I am going to do the best I can. All right, so thank you and see you in the next video.